Hey everyone, you know how much I love a good horror game, and today we're going deep on one that really nails the atmosphere, Alien Isolation.
Oh yeah, Isolation, that game will stay with you for sure. For this deep dive, we're looking specifically at Mission 13, Consultation. You really get put through the ringer on this one.
Looks like the developers took everything you thought you knew about the game and just flipped it on its head. I mean, right off the bat, you're dealing with the aftermath of Samuel's sacrifice. It happened before you even start the mission, but wow, talk about setting the tone. What's so effective about how they handle that from a design perspective?
It's subtle, right? You don't actually see it happen, but the game uses environmental storytelling to make sure you feel the weight of it.
It's like you don't need the explicit visuals because your brain fills in the blanks. And honestly, that's way more effective at creating that sense of dread.
Exactly. You walk into a room, and there's a blood trail leading to a sealed door, maybe some sparks flying from a busted panel. You instantly know something bad went down, even without seeing it.
And it makes you think, if that could happen to Samuels, what chance do I have? Which brings us to the other big thing about this mission.
No weapons.
Yeah, they totally strip you bare. No flamethrower, no revolver, nothing. As someone who loves hoarding every weapon I can find in games, that was a terrifying feeling. For those listening who maybe haven't had the pleasure of that experience, what's the design philosophy behind taking away the player's ability to fight back?
So it completely changes the way you approach the game, right? It's no longer about combat, it's about pure survival. You're forced to rely on stealth, strategy, your wits. That's what makes it so effective as horror. It taps into that primal fear of being hunted.
Yeah, and you really have to use everything at your disposal. I'm talking about utilizing distractions, taking advantage of hiding spots, really learning the aliens' patrol patterns. Like, the game throws you in the deep end, but you got to learn to swim and fast. And then there's that whole section with the motion trackers going haywire.
Oh man, the motion trackers. Yeah, normally those are your lifeline in the game, letting you see the aliens' movements. But in this flooded area, the coolant messes them up. It's just a jumbled mess of blips and static.
It's terrifying. Yeah. You have no idea where the alien is, you're essentially blind. Which is a brilliant move by the developers because it forces you to rely on your other senses. Sound design becomes even more crucial.
And that's another thing that Alien Isolation absolutely nails: the sound design. The creaking of the station, the distant hiss of steam, the aliens' chilling shrieks, it all ramps up the tension to almost unbearable levels. And for players who really like to dig into the mechanics, who love to master a game's systems, this kind of challenge can be incredibly rewarding.
Oh, absolutely. It's like you're not just surviving, you're overcoming the odds. And then just when you think you've gotten a handle on things, just when you think you might actually escape this nightmare, you finally reach Apollo.
The AI everyone's been after, the supposed key to understanding everything.
Right. And the music swells, the tension is palpable, and then cliffhanger. What happens next? Well, you'll have to play the game to find out.
Or listen to our next deep dive where we'll pick up the story there. What's so fascinating about Alien Isolation is how it constantly keeps you on edge. It masterfully blends moments of intense pressure, like in Mission 13, with other types of gameplay.
Yeah, it never lets you get too comfortable. You never know what to expect next. So for all you listeners out there, we have a question for you. What other games have you played that successfully use these kinds of shifts in gameplay to keep you engaged? Let us know. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And that's a wrap on today's deep dive.